All right, we're sort of talking about results now, but let's get into it. I think this is an area that's we've been working on for quite a while, since I've been involved anyway in Angus Australia the last 12 months. And it's one of those things you start looking at, the more when we look at it, the more information there is to get out, so it takes a bit longer than you expect. But we're at a good stage now, we've got some good new results for you to just really start identifying how the bulls are stacking up in the Sire Benchmarking Program. So in this session, what I'm going to do is outline how you can access these results, first and foremost. We're going to discuss how it's performing with the Sire benchmarking, and I'll particularly focus on Cohort 2 in this case, just because we've just recently completed the abattoir carcase data and basic carbon information for females. But we've got similar information produced for our Cohort 1, 2, 3 and 4 animals. Quite a range of staying in the ground, so we don't have anything for those yet. And I'm also going to outline how this is going to be made available to you going forward. This information, there's lots of information flowing in, so you have to keep updating it for you. You just can't sort of sit in time for 2 years and then get you more information. We're going to keep updating as we go along. We're producing results in 2 forms. And the first form we've got listed there shouldn't be new to you. These are our breedplant MVVs. So what happens is most of the data we collect goes directly into our breedplant analysis. Okay, so we get updated EVVs straight away. That information flows through to relatives and so on and so forth. So we do get a lot of benefit out of that straight away through our standard monthly breedplant analysis. Most of the time, all that here, we do put the data in straight away. So if it's weight data or skinning data or birth data, it just goes in and gets analysed as it comes in. The only exception to that is our abattoir carcass data we hold on to till we've got the whole cohort collected. And also net feed intake data, we hold on to the whole cohort collected. Because we don't want to sort of trickle, because it's really powerful data, we don't want to trickle one mob in and another mob in, but see these sort of potentially bouncing up and down. So that's why we had to hold off for a little bit for this Cohort 2 carcass data to come in, because we had a late mob. We had to wait for the data. But anyway, we've got it now, so that's good. The second part of it, this is what we'll focus on today, is our new Progeny Performance reports and also the contemporary graphs reports, which we'll talk about, which is more related to our bull suppliers. Let's go through that now. How do you access the information? Hopefully you're all aware of where you access your breedplant MVVs through your standard herd reports, so on and so forth. But particularly for the Sire benchmarking, we've got our own little Sire catalogue set up online here. And as you can see, you click on this catalogues on the website, Sire benchmarking. You then have a catalogue for each of the cohorts, 1 to 5. And you also have a all cohorts category, so you can sort across all the cohorts as well for the trait. So hopefully you know how to use this site if you use the internet. If you don't, talk to someone, one of the MSOs or Andrew or myself, and we can talk you through it. Because it basically produces our list of EVVs, and hopefully you know how you search and sort. This is just a list of the 189 sizes, and the top probably 15 bulls sorted on the Angus Breeding Index that are Sire benchmarking size. I'm not going to go into EVVs today though. Hopefully you're all very familiar with those and you can focus on something else. I should say, it's like Andy, you click on one of these, like this top guy here, Pathfinder Genesis, and you click on his ID, let him take you through his details page, as you should all be aware of, pedigree, performance, genetic condition results, so on and so forth. Picture in this case, indexes. Again, I'm not going to go into any more detail about that. It's been familiar information for us for a long time. If you need to know more, talk to us. The new information, and this is information we put a little bit out at our breed development forum in Armidale a couple of months back, but we've just revised it. And we've now got this information online, and we're calling it our Sire Benchmarking Program Progeny Performance Reports. And we've got one for each cohort. In this case, it's the front page for the Cohort 2 report. And to find it, you basically go to the Sire Benchmarking menu item, and you can see the cohorts, first, second, third, fourth, fifth. In this case, I'm at the second, and we've got the Progeny Performance Report. So if you click on that link, it'll basically now bring up this report for you to look at. Okay, and I'll talk more about what's in this report in a second, which is additional to our breedplant MVVs. Hopefully some of you have seen this report already. I emailed a link out to all the bull breeders a couple of nights ago, I think. So hopefully some of you who've nominated bulls have bulls going into the program, or if you're a cooperative herder, have a chance to flick through it. Now you're sitting by your email waiting for this stuff to come through. Okay, so I'm going to give you one of these reports in a minute for Cohort 2, but this is just a snapshot of one of the pages and some of the additional information we've got in these reports. So additional to our breedplant MVVs, and our breedplant MVVs are in this report as well up front, because you still need to look at that information as your primary source of selection. But this is just additional information to show how the sires have performed within their cohort, within the Sire Benchmarking Program. Okay, so what we've done here is, as you can see here, for Cohort 2, this is just the bulls sorted on their name. There's 47 bulls in this, but this is just the first, whatever it is, 20. It's got sorted on name, it says Breed Society, Society ID, how many progeny they've got measured for 200-day weight in the Sire Benchmarking Program. So this is what's been measured and analysed. And what we've now got is progeny average values. So this is the progeny average values for 200-day weight. Okay? And this takes into account a few things. So we adjust the data for age and the age of the dam. So if it's from a heifer or a cow, we do all those similar adjustments that we have to sort of compare apples with apples, so there's no bias there. And we also take into account things like how big is the contemporary group. Is it a sire that's progeny big contemporary group compared to small in the benchmark? So it takes all these factors into account to give us a better indication of the true progeny average of the particular sire, okay? And then it just gives you a value which looks like a 200-day weight, doesn't it? Okay, so what we do then is we just give you a rank. Depending on the trait, it'll rank in order from ascending or descending. In regards to 200-day weight for a weight trait, it'll be ranked from highest to lowest. In regards to, say, birth weight, it'll be ranked from lowest to highest. Okay? But this information can only be compared within cohort, within the trait. You can't compare these values from cohort 1 to cohort 2. They only can be compared within cohort, okay? So it's really there just to give you an indication of how bulls perform and how its progeny performed for a particular trait within the cohort of the Sire Benchmarking Program. I'll talk more about it because that's just 200-day weight and use of that trait. We've got a range of other traits included in this report, including non-replanting traits, such as MSA marble score, MSA index, ossification, so on and so forth, that we collect and don't carry and analyse from replant. So it's giving us some additional data as well. I'll give you a report in a second. What we've also done, and this is information that's primarily going to be supplied to bull nominees at this stage, and I'll get this out soon based on the new information, is basically what we call the contemporary graph report. So it's additional that we've got. So you can see this particular bull, Aberdeen State, how his progeny on a contemporary basis have performed for birth weight, how they performed 200-day weight. So basically what down here, this is the contemporary group average, and this is his progeny's performance values here. So what would happen if you looked at a sire and you saw all his progeny were up here, you could say, yes, they're all higher than the contemporary group average. Okay, so just a graphical way of showing how the progeny performed. Now this is just primarily, I said, going to go back to bull denominators initially, but when we've finished the full cohort, so when the animals have been slaughtered at the other end, we'll put this information online as well for everyone to peruse through, but not until that stage. Bull denominators will give it along the way. Again, just try and give some more feedback about how the progeny performed with the sires. Okay, so that's some information we'll go through more in a minute in our reports. But before we do, I just want to probably just take a step back and look and see how much information we've now got for the program to actually feed into these reports. It's actually quite a large data set. If you look at a thing like, this is across cohort 1 to 4, this is the spread, and it follows that nice bell curve we all talk about, the spread we're seeing in birth weights. And you can see the variation we're seeing when we look across a whole lot of cohorts. You can see from right down here quite light ones, to right up here quite heavy ones. Okay, but most of them average around 37 or 38 kilograms. Okay, so the data set we're getting is on about 3,500 animals, or a bit more, doing close to 4,000. Is spread. The data's there. I guess that's what's really indicating. We're collecting a lot of data in this program now to feed into our results, which we're putting out here. This is just gestation length, as you can see here, the nice bell curve as well, and where the spread is. 200-day weight, 400-day weight. So again, we're seeing big ranges there. And that range we can use to generate progeny averages, going to replant, all those sorts of things to give you information to select from. Variation's not a problem, we've got plenty of it still. Okay, let's focus a bit more on the cohort 2 carcass and female reproduction results. Okay, so this is just focusing on those 47 sires that were included in that particular cohort. It's newest information. It's been through replant, we went through the run we just did, the additional June run, which hopefully you're aware of. And of course some changes. Bulls went up, bulls went down, some stayed the same, but hopefully you've taken notice of that. The first thing we'll look at is just the overall how the cattle, I guess, how they performed out in the carcass. Okay, out of 270 days on feed ranges Valley and killed through John D. Warwick. So if you look up the top here, these are the particular things we're looking at: live weight, on-standard carcass weight, dressing percentage, so on and so forth. And this is the average value of the particular steers. Okay, of 527 odd steers, 530 odd steers You can see live weight, they're pretty big when they come out of ranges. They average 832 kilograms. 5 or 6 of them over a tonne. Why we've got more hot standard carcass weights than live weight is a couple of them can't actually fit into the crush and weighed out, so they're going to skip around the side. But there's a variation there, as you can see. The minimum is 644, the maximum is over a tonne. Okay, so plenty of variation to work with. Hot standard carcass weights, you can see the heavy carcasses, but there's variation. There's plenty of variation there from 362 up to 568. Dressing percentage, P8 fat, rib fat, ossification, MSA marbling score, Oz meat, we're averaging about 3, and MSA marbling score of 520, which lines up with our marbling score of 3. But we're getting variation there as well, from 2 to 7. Muscle areas, big variation, 6,716 square centimetres. And MSA index. Does everyone know what MSA index is? We've sort of kept up to speed with that. So our overall, measurement of eating quality of the carcass, and the new index value that MSA is putting out. And you can see we've got plenty of spread there as well. Pleasingly, when you look at that from an overall cohort perspective, the cattle on average are averaging in the top 1% of the breed for eating quality across everything that's graded. Okay. The national average is about 56 for MSA index. The range is from about 30 to 80. Our cattle are averaging around 65. To be honest, you probably hope for that, given the length of feeding, they're managed really well, plus they're also very good genetics, of course. So
you'd expect that.
Yeah, you'd expect it. Yeah, but they won't all do it. I'm sure if we stuck some other cattle on there, they wouldn't get quite to that level. Because what's actually interesting when you look at what's behind MSA index, what's really driving it is the marble score for our cattle. So cattle, when you look at the variation here, for example, so we've got plenty of variation as well for MSA index. The cattle that are averaging up here higher generally are ones with higher marble score. Okay, that's what's driving the high cattle in our cattle what's going to have higher index. Anyway, I'm not here to go into too much detail about the MSA index. If you're interested, then talk to us, but also talk to one of the MLA, MSA guys and they can talk you through it.
Can I just ask you, all that information, is that recorded by MSA development officers or is it recorded by in-house abattoir staff?
All our grading is done by the MSA graders out of Brisbane, not by the in-house staff.
Development.
That's right. So they, to the credit of MLA and MSA, they really see the value in this project. They make sure that they get their own graders there, not rely on the in-house graders, which has benefits as we know. So that's a good question. Okay, need to know more about MSA index, find out about it, it's interesting. It's starting to build into some grids, by the way. If you've seen the Bindery grid, then MSA index is built into there as a pricing thing there, so it's starting to flow through to send some pricing. Okay, now we'll just look at some of the carcass data. So we'll see the spread. This is our cohort 2 animals. We've got 513 weights that have gone into the analysis. And as you can see here, we've got a nice bell curve again, plenty of spread from 360 up to 540. So a nice spread there. What we have down the bottom here is these are our, like what I put up for the 200-day weights. Okay, this is our progeny averages for carcass weight. Okay, so you can see here, the highest guy is this EST-D2 EST D32. You can see his progeny average is around 470 kilograms. Okay, so based on his progeny number of around 16 or 17, I'd say. Okay, so you can see how particular bulls are ranking within the Sire Benchmarking Program for these particular traits. Down to this guy here is a New Zealand genetics bull whose progeny are averaging just under 410 kilos. So you're seeing around 50 or 60 differences in progeny average on carcass weight. And that's pretty significant if you're selling those over the hooks, of course. Saying that, you've got to make sure all the other traits are right too. You don't just do the trait selected. You should all know that. Again, I'll give you a report to all this information displayed in a second, but let's just focus on this for now. This is eye muscle area. So you can see here our spread in eye muscles from 64 square centimetres up to 102. A little bit of not quite an even distribution there, but close. As you can see here, we've got this particular NXT ball. I think he's a can't remember the name of the stuff. Anyway, he's got the highest eye muscle areas on a progeny average of 95, based on probably about 6 progeny coming through a carcass. One thing you do want to take into account is the number of carcasses, or the number of progeny. If the progeny look very low, like 1, 2 or 3 or something like that, then you need to use that as, I guess, a pseudo accuracy data for the bit of information. We're still going to produce it all, but you just take that progeny number into account if you're trying to determine it as such. This is carcass intramuscular fat. So this is actually intramuscular fat from the UND Meat Science Lab. So this is where Andrew showed. We've actually gone to the Meat Science Lab, cut up the bits of meat, pulled out the fat chemically and measured it. So you can see we've measured, this is at the end of feeding, so after 207 days, it goes from around 3% up to nearly 20%. So these animals up here, not just, they wouldn't have more IMF, but they do have more marbling, and we've got some relationships to show you later on about that. So you can see here, we start to see particular bulls like this D186 who have quite high IMF, 12% for progeny averages. New Zealand will have quite high value as well. So again, just giving you some additional information about how bulls performed out of the progeny test for some additional traits of IMF. This is a new thing, MSA marble score. You wouldn't have seen this before through Greek plan. And luckily, if I put this on the last slide, they nearly overlap with one another. They line up pretty well in regards to chemically extracted IMF and MSA marble score, which is nice to see, isn't it? See these things happen. It's a pretty close trait. You can see we range from around 160 up to nearly 1,000 or over 1,000. Most of our carcasses average about over 500 for MSA marble score, which is equivalent to around a marble score 3 or a bit better, okay, on the Ausmeat marble score system if you're used to seeing that. So again, you can see here, this particular bull here, Bartell, he had the highest, he didn't have the highest IMF carcass, it was fairly high, but when we looked at it on a marble score basis, the graded, it was higher up there, okay, which is an interesting outcome. I think it was the highest amongst the pack.
Does that suggest the level of what is it predicted that we can put on the intramuscular scan, the RMF scan, in terms of it relating to, or correlation relating to the actual traits? Is that what that's reflecting?
Not necessarily. We've got information, and Andrew will take it through, a relationship between marble score, MSA marble score, MSA scanning for IMF, and MSA carcass chemically extract IMF. So just hold that thought over until we see that information. But all this is saying is it's not exactly the same. We know it's not the same trait. MSA marble score and chemically extract IMF is not the same trait. It's closely related, but you're not always going to line up 1 to 1. And that's just, as long as we've got some relationship there, we can breed with, that's the main thing. So you've got to remember, if you think about what it is, one is actually looking at the cortisite and judging what the MSA marble score is, and the other one is cutting the meat, chemically extracting it out from a turmeric from a sample from that meat and measuring that. So they're quite different measurements, but they do line up pretty well, which Andrew will show in his next presentation.
What's the standard deviations like on those groups, progeny cohorts?
Yep, we've got standard deviations calculated. We haven't published them.
Are they big or small? Or?
For animals with low progeny, they're big. For animals with reasonable amount of progeny, they're small. That's something we need to take into account. That's something we thought long and hard about. We thought about how complicated we want to get with displaying information, when really our main advice to people is still go back to the EPV where you've got an accuracy there. That's still our main advice. This is just additional information down the Sire Benchmarking Program. Good question, mate. I talked about MSA index as well. We've now got progeny averages calculated for MSA index. As we talked about, they go from 60 up to near 70, and the nice bell curve there again. And as you can see here, I think I mentioned in my previous slide, it's in our cattle. It seems to be well related with marble score. So those cattle with marble well generally have a high MSA index. And Bartell's one of those cattle you can see here. Not only is cattle marble well for MSA marble score, his progeny also had a high MSA index. Okay, so there seems to be a relationship there which you can think about how you breed, I guess, if that's of interest to you. It's important we just don't focus on the carcass though. The carcass is important because it's what you sell, but the female reproduction is also important. We've talked about measuring that side as well, and Andrew focuses in this talk. This is just the spreading days to calving values in our first calf heifers. So these are our AI bred heifers, the sisters of those steers, that were bred to natural joining. So what it is a measure. It's a measure from when the heifer were introduced to a bull to when they calved, okay, and the progeny average is there. So it's a measuring days of that period. So sires that have a shorter days to calving value would have more fertile daughters to that first conception and calving. Okay, so it's one of these traits that we collected more data on, and we need to do this over time because of natural joining. But you can see there we've got some big variations. Now what this little blip out is here, so this is the variation we see. Most of them around this period here, 290 to 300, but we do get some out here in regards to their taking longer time to join and then calve. What this blip out is when we analyse this data, if the heifer hasn't got any calves, she gets a penalty record. So she still gets a days to calving record, but we just add, I don't know the amount of days that are on, but add a penalty record on, so they get much longer days to calve, okay? Going into the analysis. So that's what you're seeing out here. Those are the females that probably didn't get a calf. It's about 30, I'd say. So basically, from this information, we've developed our progeny averages for days to calving. This information again is fed in the breed plan, so look at your days to calving MBV. But just to compare how bulls are performing the progeny test, Cohort 2, you can see some differences there. So you can see some longer values here, you can see some different values here. That's what it is. But again, taking into account those progeny numbers, as Emily pointed out, in the scientific terms, if you've got progeny like this, and we've got one or two progeny, then you have a fairly big standard error around that.
I suppose another way of asking it, of the first two sires there, is there actually a significant difference between 300 and 320 given 8 progeny?
Yep, that's a fair point.
What's the question?
Oh, I don't know off the top of my head, but we've got the standard errors calculated, but we've decided not to publish it because again we don't want to overcomplicate this space. We can't undercomplicate it, but we don't want to overcomplicate it. Okay, so I'm going to hand out some reports in a minute so you can see more of this information, but where to from here? Following assistance from New South Wales DPI, I don't think Mr. T has turned up today, he'll help us. We've basically got the process set up now where we can routinely calculate, obviously the breed plan MBVs we can train, monthly group runs, but we've also got the system set up in-house now we can generate these progeny average values and update reports regularly. And basically we'll update those reports on the website where I showed you on a routine basis, particularly when new data comes in. For example, after this July run, which is about to be loaded at the end of this month, we've got all the Cohort 3 net feed intake data, we've got a heap of new scan data that's coming. Now I will also mention that we've had a few outliers from the Cohort 2 abattoir carcass data that's been verified or revised, which will cause things to change a little bit as well. So keep an eye on that space and you'll see that report being revised regularly. We'll tell you about it anyway through our communications. So let's just talk about this report and I'll hand one out to you. So you basically just take one of these and hand it back and I'll talk you through what's in this report. So basically, if you go to that section on the website I showed you, this is a report you'll get. This is for Cohort 2. We've got them up there for Cohort 1 and 4 as well. First of all, on the front page we've got some acknowledgements. Read those. We've got a few people from the crowd here who are listed there. All nominated. I couldn't list you all, but you get a reference there. Bill Hiscox from Bayers here. We've got a couple of operator herds. Richard Goodgum from Burandice here, and we've got Hugh Munro who's a operator herd as well, so I don't think I missed anyone else who's listed there, but there are our people we need to acknowledge for all this information. The first page is basically just an introduction about what this report's about. I won't go through that in detail. The first one, after that, the first 4 pages there are basically just our breed plan ABVs. Okay, so that should be any new to you. It's our breed plan ABVs from our monthly group run. You can see here, this is from our June run up the top, and when we go to the next run, we'll update it to our So there are MBVs. I will say, if you need to use any information selection, I won't say it enough, but if you want to say any information selection in the traits available in breed plan, then use this information in front of your eyes and your progeny averages. Okay, so use this as your first port of call for selection, that's for sure. Your MBVs and indexes. However, if you want some additional information, then that's where we've got it listed for our progeny average values. So first of all, if you look at those pages there, after our EBV section, that's basically introducing all the new progeny average values to you, okay? So can you see those pages? That'll basically explain what the information means, both on a general overall level, plus also going into the traits. Then what we have is we've got the listings there for our progeny average values for each of the traits. So if you open up to the next page after those notes, you can see for birth weights listed first. Okay? And again, what we have there is we have the ranked in Sire name order, the Sire ID, how many progeny we've got analysed just in the Sire Benchmarking Program, doesn't include any other industry data, just in the Sire Benchmarking. We've got the progeny average value, taking into account the adjustments for typical group and age and all those sorts of things we need to compare apples with apples. And then we've got a rank, in this case birth weights ranked from lowest to highest. Okay, again, don't single trait select, look at all the other traits, look at the Greek these primarily, to give you some indication of how to perform within the Sire Benchmarking Program. So basically we go through on the other traits, and I'll just go through and verbalise these for you. Then we've then got gestation length listed, based on the owner records. We've got 200-day weight, 400-day weight, 600-day weight, days to calving in our AI heifers. We've got our scan isolates, so we put our scan information here as well. So this is the scan on our steers of Exeter Toowoomba and also on our heifers. They're both included in these values. We scan the heifer progeny as well. So scan islet area, scan rib fat, scan rump fat, scan intramuscular fat, carcass weight. So carcass weight is their first direct abattoir carcass trait. And again, we've got the number of progeny, the progeny average, and the rank, highest to lowest. We've then got carcass eye muscle area, and that's the eye muscle area taken by the MSA grader in the chiller. We've got carcass IMF, which is our IMF value taken out of the UND meat science lab, our chemically extracted IMF, after 270 days on feed. We've then also got net feed intake. The net feed intake we've mentioned a few times today, but we've got our net feed intake data in there as well. So we don't know how to interpret net feed intake. If you're selecting your net feed intake and wanted a more feed efficient animal, you just select a higher or lower value. Lower value, less feed per kilogram gain basically, for the standard weight, rate of weight gain I should mention. The lower value is better, and that's the way we've got the rank. And then we move, after net feed intake, we move into our MSA type trait. So we've got MSA marble score, we've got MSA ossification. Does everyone know what ossification is? Yeah, what is it then?
Aging.
Yeah, it's an aging. It's a physiological aging where they look at the vertebrae and work out from the calcification of the vertebrae how old the carcass is. It's more accurate than the teething supposedly. So we've got ossification, we've got MSA index as well, and we've also got shear force. So that's shear force out of the meat science lab as Andrew showed us. Okay, if you're selecting on animals that are going to produce more tender meat, would you want a higher or lower shear force? Lower. So lower would mean less force to pull the grade through a bit of milk. Correct. So that's all the information we have got produced in that report. Now, that's for Cohort 2 where we've got pretty much all the data recording done up to slaughter. If you looked at the same report, say for Cohort 3, we obviously haven't got any abattoir carcass data in. We haven't got any FI data at this stage because we haven't analysed that. When we get that in there, we'll update the report. Cohort 4, for example, has only got weaning weight, birth weight, gestation weight, so they can start coming into it. So that's where we're sitting, and you'll see how we're staggered in performance along the way. So that's the new progeny performance report. It's probably a good opportunity, Andrew, is it, to have a short break and let people think about it, and then we can come back and ask any questions, and then we can move on to the next.